This is, continues the theme of the sinister theme of the evening. This is a poem for Halloween, and it's based on The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And The Raven tells how the poet, alone in his castle retreat, is tormented by a mysterious visitor, apparently a raven, which comes crawling in the night. Similarly, my poem, The Haven, recounts how a stately home is also troubled by a strange nocturnal intruder, which left its own distinctive mark, with the emphasis on the stink that was picked up by the whole incident, right? And this incident allegedly was twice repeated in the course of our history. Now, any similarity to real people or real events here at the BBC is therefore entirely deliberate. And the poem is based on things that actually happened here. Now, if you don't understand what this poem is about, or you haven't heard of any of these incidents, then please ask someone who works here, and they will tell you in confidence because I'm not allowed to actually allude to it directly. And when you leave these walls, please forget the whole thing. If you are confronted, deny you ever heard anything of the sort, and do not talk to the press. Not the Daily Mail, not the Guardian, nor Private Eye. Above all, do not say anything to Private Eye. So a little bit of glossary here. IC means an independent contractor. Socrates is the BBC, and this is straight up, it actually is called Socrates, it's the BBC's new computer system. VAP is a value-added product. Dan Cameron is Monitoring's communications supremo cum troubleshooter, basically. Greg Dyke is the BBC's former no-nonsense director general, who coined the phrase, cut the crap, right? Right, so, here goes. The ancient mansion stood unsmiling, yet mysteriously beguiling, with the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Since World War II, it's been a haven for Russians, Afghans and Iranians, its grand Victorian image graven on the hilltop's leafy shore. No wonder inmates spend their days fervently hoping, praying for asylum here forevermore. Until one day there came a warning on what became a day of mourning, when the future was revealed in a solemn staff address. The future's grim and double dipping. In fact, is on the point of tipping into insolvency, even slipping into a most almighty mess. The whistleblower thereupon leaked the whole stories of the press. Oh, what a mess, oh, what a mess. This, said the boss, is a disgrace and hardly helpful to our case. Just when we're lobbying stakeholders for funding in this day and age, offering them digests to believe in, juicy vaps to sink their teeth in, some twat turns up at the staff briefing, taking notes at every stage, and then betraying all our secrets to the Guardian media page, sending me into a rage. Could it be this house is haunted? Legend has it it's been taunted twice by uninvited callers in its checkered history. Something happened here that left us blushing. Was it the sound of drain pipes gushing? Or some faulty system flushing? Let's try to solve this mystery. Let us track down the entity whose eerie name must surely be the Phantom of the Lavatory. Once upon a night shift dreary, a lone sub pondered, this is Martin Morgan, a lone sub pondered, weak and weary, over quaint and curious transcripts from some poor, far-flung IC. While he nodded, almost napping, suddenly he heard a tapping, as of someone gently rapping. What in God's name could it be? Ah, 'tis some monitor, he muttered, popped into the WC. More than likely for a week. Years passed by, then one September, the ghost of some former staff member was said to have dropped by. Nothing was heard but for a snore. Again the night shifter was kipping, when the dreadful thing came skipping, when so smoothly it came tripping through the upstairs toilet door. Rumour had it that the thing did doodle on the walls and floor, leaving its mark forevermore. Sensing rebellion and sedition, Dan Cameron set out on his mission to stamp out play so foul no mortal had ever seen the like before. This was vandalism too rotten, he said, but we'll get to the bottom of who's behind this misbegotten outpouring on the second floor. This, he said, is gross misconduct, and it is against the law. That it is, I am pretty sure. Whereupon the good director decided he would raise the spectre of words once uttered by Greg Dyke in his renowned impassioned plea. OK, folks, just cut the crapping. And before you're all caught napping, someone own up, take the rapping. Unless we toe the line, said he, we might as well sack Socrates, shut shop, hand back the key, and say goodbye to the BBC. Staff sat sullen, stunned and shaken by this scary ultimatum. No wonder that the matter cropped up at the latest Q&A. Please, sir, if your plan is to dismiss us, please try not to spoil our Christmas. Said one of the brothers or sisters from the local NUJ. And if we did decide to strike, could you please leave us on full pay? Really make our day. Folks at the Haven seemed hell-bent on a winter of discontent. They issued their demands, here's what we heard them say. Frankly, it would not be cricket if managers did cross the picket, although it would be just the ticket if they donated half their pay to our strike fund to subsidise those staff less fortunate than they. So please, please, let us have our way. The August brief gave staff the blues. Here are some of the FAQs. They centred on the tech refresh, so tricky to administer. Will Socrates be going on strike? Or will he soon be on his bike? Please tell us, what's he really like? He seems a little sinister. They say that once rolled out, he'll get paid more than the Prime Minister. Will he deploy in Delhi or Srinagar? OK, folks, came the reply. You need to eat some humble pie. Tighten your belts, embrace the cuts, live life in sobriety. Instead of sowing such dissension, banging on about your pension, which is beyond my comprehension, behave with more propriety, subscribe to the new generation, follow your leader with piety, and join the big society. Thereupon, he heard a splatter, something of a pitter-patter. Then he saw a monstrous fowl flapping outside the atrium door. Who art thou, grim and ghastly raven? What seekest thou here in my haven? The beast needed little persuasion to spout forth like a troubadour. Trick or treat, thus quoth the raven, its dreadful beak thrust to the fore. Trick or treat, and nothing more. So, that basically is the end, but the question trick or treat or nothing more. The question is there a link between the phantom fowler and the phantom fowl, you see? As said, the poem is, the poem was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. Poe. Just a minute. Can anyone hear anything? No. It is the wind and nothing more. And now for something completely different. I'd like to introduce Cathy, who is a fellow poet. She's a fellow member of Reading Roadrunners, And in her day, before she retired from Thames Water, she was a shop steward, just as I myself had a